Oh, a triple XLT, beautiful. Hi everyone, welcome to STV. I'm your guest host, Phil Molto. On today's ride, we're going to two different locations to help get trails ready for the season. And for you people running an older sled and you need parts, we're going to a Snowmobile salvage yard. The ride starts now.
STV is brought to you by Polaris, Caliber, engineered for adventure, and by Elka, your ride, your way.
First time getting dressed, it's like hockey equipment. Where is everything?
Yeah.
Where's the other boot?
Backseat driver flying undercover. A nice suit and a family name. Says he'll make me a star if I just play the game.
You know, in my snowcross days, I would have jumped that log and grabbed about 50 feet of air, but yeah, being a little older, I'm just gonna take the saw to it and do it old man way. Yeah.
I'm not doing this to try to make a name. I just like the way it feels on me, the way it looks on me.
It's a heavy
Still
one.
got the fire when you try to be a flood, 'cause I like the way it feels on me. That little
We brought coffee, right? Tea? Drinks tea. Over the years, STV has always enjoyed meeting people out on the trails, the volunteers, the people who make things work. And we're up here in central Muskoka at the beginning of the season, breaking trail with Paul McNichol. And you've probably seen him around. He's been in the industry for years. He's a club volunteer, ridden lots of places. And today, we're out here in the woods. What are we doing today out here? Like, what are the challenges we're finding today, opening up these trails?
Well, I guess the first thing, Phil, is I have to put up with you. But the real part of this is that we've got to get everything ready for the season, for the snowmobilers to get rolling. Our issue right now is that we really don't have enough snow to start to open trails, but we still have to prep them. So we have to get the trees cut, the brush down, pack into the swamps to hopefully make some ice. And then if everything goes well, we'll be able to start to groom the trails once we get enough snow.
And I don't think people realize, they think, well, if it snowed, it's Muskoka, it's cottage country, they got to be able to, the trails be open. But how much work have we got to do just today in this one section?
Every trail is different. You never know what you're into. Some trails are across fields, they're easy to open. Trails in bush, you might get wind damage, you might not.
Well, and extra challenges come up. Last year, there was that massive ice storm right at the end of the season, so people are trying to get into bushes, and there's just this stuff is just hanging everywhere. And it's really hard for volunteers to get in there. And today, describe what this trail is like today that we're working on and what it's like in the middle of winter.
Well, I would say it's like a roller coaster right now, but in the middle of winter, we'll have that smoothed down that it's not a roller coaster, it's not pancake tabletop smooth, but it'll be fairly smooth. This is a very, very challenging trail for us because we cannot do this trail with industrial groomers. So unfortunately, the size of the equipment and what you've got to work with doesn't allow you to move as much snow and fill in as big a holes. So it never is a pristine trail, but it's a very scenic and enjoyable trail to ride.
I've always enjoyed this trail from way back when I first rode up here in the 80s, because as a dealer once said to me, snowmobiles you're supposed to move around on. He says, flat trails don't work for me. He says, I like to get up and down and move around, and that's exactly what this trail does. But it's the Canadian Shield. I mean, 20 minutes to half hour south of here is farmland, so it's nice and easy again to stake the trails, do land leveling and stuff. But here, I mean, we're trying to pack today, and you're always wondering which creek is open, which pond did the beavers overflood this year. Like, this terrain, it creates amazing sledding halfway through the winter, but at the beginning to get up here and pack, I don't think people realize what's underneath here. I mean, this is the Canadian Shield. There's miles of granite just popping up, and there's nothing you can do with it.
Yeah, the very interesting thing about this trail is that I've been heavily involved for the last 10 years. And in the last 10 years, I've always started working on this trail in December, and it has never fully opened before Family Day weekend any year, but we've worked it the whole time up till then to get it open.
You've been up here riding for decades, working on the trails for a long time. Describe the passion that keeps you coming out in wintertime to this bush to ride with friends and family.
You know, there's something to be said about just getting out here and enjoying the wilderness. It's like, look at today. It's sunny. It's an awesome day. The weather, temperature, everything is just perfect. We're having a good time together. And you feel like you've accomplished something. This is really something, you know. A lot of people don't see what goes into it, and they don't understand it, but there's so much more behind the scenes of making friends and feeling part of something. So you also make it good so that when I want to get on this trail, it's good and I can use it. And then I enjoy getting around all the spots in Ontario and seeing different stuff and seeing how different clubs operate and such. So to me, snowmobiling is my #1 pastime. So I give back as well as take.
Calling all the people, calling all the people, calling all the people, yeah.
I'm retired. I'm not supposed to be doing manual labor. I got notes from my doctor. I can't be doing this stuff, but it's fun.
When the snowmobile season gets started and you're packing trails, sometimes you bring out the big gear. And you also go and talk to the people who know, and that's Jeff from the Aurelia District Snowmobile Club. Jeff, what's it like to get the season started? There's a lot of work going back from June right through to the first freeze up. How does it start for you?
Well, this year's been a real specific challenge for us. We had the ice storm, as everybody's aware of, and it did just catastrophic damage in the area for trees down. Myself personally, my house was without power for 12 days. So we've spent hundreds of hours and you know, lots of money hiring equipment, and the volunteers are coming out like crazy. I mean, our volunteers are just amazing, absolutely amazing. Kudos to them. They're coming out in this kind of weather and they're brushing and getting rid of the trees and everything else. And you know, on top of that, you've got obviously the areas that are wet, they're swampy, so you've got to pack them and get them to freeze and all of that before you even think about putting a drag on the back and grooming the trail and trying to open it. I can't say enough about our volunteers and how they've stepped it up this year. Like I said, this year was a very big challenge for our club. We had a lot of issues to deal with, and not inclusive of all of the damage from the ice storm. We have over 200 kilometers of trail in our club, so you can just imagine how much work that was to try and clean up all that damage before you even think about putting a machine like this on the trail.
Now, it's interesting coming here because earlier today I was just north of here, like 20 minutes, and it's completely different terrain. The Canadian Shield is just granite rocks, it's ponds, it's swamps. Come down here and we're kind of on the edge of farmland. So how is it different for the Aurelia Club to groom this area? What are your challenges for being close to a city, farmlands, shared trails?
We are lucky. We have just behind the trees behind us, there's what we call the rail bed. The trail runs all the way from Aurelia to Wabashine. If we get a decent amount of snow, we can be out there and we can be open in a week. Whereas another trail that we have that goes up that way is our 204 trail, and it winds and meanders through the woods, and there's several swamps and stuff like that. That trail takes weeks to get it firmed up to a point where you can take a heavy groomer over it and not sink it.
In past years in Ontario, the snow belt kind of shifts back and forth, but Aurelia has always been a constant, that people from the south, from anywhere south of Lake Simcoe, know that they can get up here and ride. So it must be interesting for you to see how many, when the snow trails are open and they're not south of here, you must get a lot of snowmobiles up here.
Oh, we get them by the thousands. And that's kind of the beauty of having the rail bed, is the ability to open it. We're usually, between us and what we call GBSR, it's Georgian-based snow riders, the Midland area, we work in conjunction, and we're usually one of the first clubs to open in this general area at minimum, because of the rail bed. And yeah, we get hundreds and hundreds, if not thousands, of riders from the GTA. It's great for them. They can drive up here, they can park, they can unload, they can ride for a whole day, put their sled back in their trailer, drive, and they're back home in time for supper. They get a day of good riding, and they're back home. They don't have to worry about a motel and all that stuff. So this trail is probably one of the busiest trails in Ontario, I'm gonna say. It's wall-to-wall sleds on a weekend. So first pass, we don't use the drag. The drag is more the final last cover over and smoothing out and getting everything done before we officially open the trail for the sledders. So our first pass through, we take the drag off. We just send the groomer up on its own to pack. It's a safety thing. You never know if you're gonna find down trees or anything like that. And if you've got the big drag on behind, if you get stuck in a spot, you're not gonna get out. You can't back up, you can't turn around. Whereas if you just have the machine, you can maneuver better and be able to turn around if you get in a spot where you actually can't get through. So.
It's like the Highland Games. It's the Camber Toss. Woo! Stay to the right. Yeah, stay to the right. That's right.
In the world of snowmobiling, we all love to read about the newest, the greatest, the newest tech. But a lot of people are also trying to keep that older sled on the trail. Those old 488 fan trails, you need parts. You come to somebody like Anthony, who runs a Snowbuilt recycle yard. Anthony, what years of sleds do people look for? What kind of parts?
I deal with anything from about 1985 to 2015, 16. I do have some newer parts, some older parts, but that's the main area. They come here for anything from sliders, skis, suspensions, bogey wheels, clutching, gearing, tracks, always doing modifications, making their short tracks, long tracks, putting bigger engines in the chassis.
Some of those old sleds, it's amazing, like some of those Indies and stuff, it was set up for liquid cooling, what you could set on them. You could try and make this, or people love their projects. They like to be that backyard person.
A lot of people like putting the
YouTubers.
big triples in the small twin chassis.
People love their greasy triples.
Oh, they
you
love
must get
the
so many
triples.
calls. If you got a 650, you got this, you got that.
They died off for a while, but now the triples are coming back.
They're like muscle cars. Suddenly everybody wants one.
Exactly. Now that there's none around, everybody wants one.
Well, who doesn't want a greasy triple T-shirt in July?
Yeah, exactly.
I can't believe how many parts. Like you have everything. Like
I
you
try
got
to
buildings full of parts.
I try to keep well stocked. I want to keep everybody going, and yeah, it's a good sport. It's a good time. It's family oriented. It's I don't know, what else do you do in the wintertime in Canada? It's go ice fishing, but you need a snowmobile to get out there. Backwoods riding, camping, you need a snowmobile to get out there, right? Like,
well, it's interesting. We live in a world now where people say, how come the kids aren't learning about shop and learning that? And I think if people buy used sled, it's a great project to teach kids how tools work and stuff, because if you go wrong, you just come back to Anthony and get another crank.
yeah, exactly. Well, it's a little cheaper than messing around with the new stuff.
Yeah, and working on older sleds is fun, unless it's -20 and you're on the side of the trail. But in your garage at home or in the summer, it's a fun thing to just sit there on a Saturday afternoon, pull something out, fix bearings, pull the wheels.
My dad started with me. We bought a sled that was smashed into a tree. Guy taped the throttle, and because he couldn't get it started, and then finally got it started, and the thing took off down the road, flew up a hill and right into a tree, wrote the thing. So my dad and I started that as a project. It was an old 462 Skidoo PRS chassis.
Yep.
And the thing was folded right in. Well, that took us 2 weeks or whatever. We stripped it right down to nothing, straightened it out, painted it, put it all back together, and that was one of my first machines. So
Excellent.
I mean, I'll never forget that. That was how I got started into snowmobiling, really.
And it's funny how people talk about how they got started into fixing outboard motors or cars or something.
Yeah.
There's that first project shows up in the driveway,
Yeah.
and you just start pulling it apart. What is it like here, like your process? You got sleds come in, you got to part them out, you got to do an inventory. So when people call up on the phone, you're not walking through the yard, you know exactly where stuff is on the shelf. So
Well,
walk us through your process.
I take them in, assess them, compression test them, check for spark, check them over, make sure the tracks are good, the whatever is good, what's bad, drain the oils, the fuel. Yeah, it's all recycled. It's the antifreeze, all the guys that have old tractors and boats, and they all come and get that stuff. I mean, there's nothing that goes to waste. All the scrap tunnels, they go to the scrap yard at the end of the year. It's a good business. You're recycling what we have, and there's not much left at the end of the day. A couple of little pieces of plastic that go in the dumpster, and that's about it.
Walking around here, you've got everything here in your yard. Like I'm seeing all manufacturers, all engine types, like long tracks, hunting. Like I've seen everything here from utility to performance sleds.
We take whatever. We'll buy whatever. We'll, like I said, we try not to get into the real vintage stuff. We try to stay 85 and newer. Mostly of what people are driving, still on the trails and driving and having their backyards, or they use for their hunt camp or whatever. We try to please those people more than anybody.
We're going to take a walk around your yard.
Yeah,
and
sure.
you can just tell us like what you've got. I mean, there's so much in every building, and
Well, we can check out
it's also so well organized. I walked in, I couldn't believe like pipes, track, like everything has got a place.
It's very hard to keep it organized, but it happens. We manage.
I wanted to have this in a 34 inch, and it's kind of 36, but I'm more of a 34. Have you had the situation where you've saved somebody's day, where they've been out riding and they Saturday morning they went out and they messed up with the engine. They forgot to put oil in. They're down an engine and they need a replacement. Have you saved somebody's trip or saved somebody's weekend with a quick phone call?
Many times. Yeah. Almost every day people are like, thank you. I couldn't find this part anywhere, or your pricing so fair, or like the sports become very, very expensive. So I mean, to buy new parts, it's not affordable. Like, so you go buy that new, you're $40-50. Well, you come here, you're 10 or 15. You know what I mean? And $40 or $50, it doesn't come with the tie rods and the ball joints. It's just, this makes things way more affordable, and people are happy to go riding. They're not worried about wearing their skis off or clipping a rock, or like I sell A-arms every day. I sell engine cases. I sell, you name it. It's everything. Like it's.
So if you bent a trailing arm, or you're broken a ski mount, or your track is gone, I got a guy. I got a guy. Anthony, I got a guy. Call Anthony, got a guy. I got a shock. I can't believe this place. Everything, skis, suspensions, engines, suspension mounts, bolts. There's absolutely everything. A pink cylinder head. This place is awesome. I've had a lot of fun being back on the show today. Thanks for having me as your guest host today. I've been riding since 1973, so I grew up with old sleds with bogies, leaf springs. I've seen the introduction of IFS, liquid cooling, injection systems. The sport continues to evolve, and it's always been a great sport, and it always will be, as long as people help make it that way. So if you can, get out there and volunteer with your club, whether it's in the office, in the field, helping get agreements signed. There's always work to be done to make sure the sport continues. It's a great sport, but it's up to you and every one of us to make it better. Thanks for joining me today. Thanks for having me on as your guest host. And if you need parts, look around on the internet and look around at your salvage yards. Ask your dealer if they've got a part sled. There's lots of ways to keep those older sleds out there. And you look around and you find these things that, wow, where am I going to get another one of those? Oh, green, purple. This is a gold mine. Have a great ride this weekend, folks. We'll see you back here on the snow. Woohoo! Score for the win. Woohoo! Yeah! Woo!
Hey, you, get back here. You haven't paid for your parts.
STV has been brought to you by Toronto International Snowmobile ATV and Powersport Show, Yamaha, revs your heart, and by Articat,